In this episode of Health Supplement Business Mastery, I'm going to tell you all the secrets to crafting an effective marketing campaign for dietary supplements. Welcome to Health Business Mastery, the Creative Thirst podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Hewitt. So we all know you have to market your product in order to sell, and supplements are no different. Sure, there's different stipulations around them, different regulations, what you can and can't say, but fundamentally, we have to market, we have to sell, we have to tell an effective story. And the way we do that is you start by first understanding your customers' core emotions and desires and their pain points around their specific health concern. That's essential for creating an effective marketing campaign. And the first thing you should do is really understand and empathize with your customers' desires and pain points. And the best way to do that is to do a little bit of customer research. Research that really includes how the customer describes their pain. So this includes what are their fears? What are their wants? What are their core emotional state of a supplement buyer? So let's talk a little bit about how you can do that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to gather some genuine customer stories. And they don't necessarily have to be your customers. They could be other customers from other brands. Really what you're looking to do is really understand those emotional desires, those pain points. And gathering genuine customer stories is a great way to get to the heart of those customers' emotions. So you start by asking the right questions and really engaging with customers really in a non-threatening way. Marketers can gain valuable insights into the customer journey and how to best serve the customer if they really just talk to the customer. And the first step in gathering those customer stories is really to identify your top buyers. These customers can be identified by looking at the lifetime value and other metrics, but you could really just kind of go in and see who has purchased multiple times in a given time period. For example, who's purchased more than 5 times in the last 90 days, or who has purchased over a certain dollar amount in the last 90 days. These are really your big customers, your customers that likely have the highest lifetime value. So once these top buyers are identified, what you can do is you could survey those people. You could send out a survey with both multiple choice and open-ended questions. Once the survey is complete, you can get data that should be really organized into the struggles and benefits of your supplement. This process can really help uncover some real problems that customers are facing. And by understanding customers' needs and gathering genuine customer stories, supplement companies can create marketing campaigns that are tailored to the customer. So what are some of those questions you can ask in those surveys? So the first one is, how long have you been experiencing this health problem? And you really want to kind of get their mind going with this, right? And you also want to be able to sort this later on in your data. But once you start getting that initial question, how long have you been experiencing X, Y, and Z? Now you can get a little bit deeper, right? You start to build that momentum. And at this point, you want to really go into the before state that they were in before they started your supplement, before they even started taking any supplements maybe. And really ask them open-ended questions, because the open-ended questions are really where the value comes. Some of these questions can sound something like this. While you were experiencing X, Y, and Z, what was it that led you to start seeking a solution such as a supplement? That's going to give you really good information. And it's also going to tell you at what point they were on their journey of purchasing decisions. And now you're kind of opening it up to get a little deeper. You can't really go right for the depth of emotional question right to begin with. You kind of have to prime them and warm them up a little bit. So the next question is going to get at that emotional aspect of what's going on in their mind, really. And you can do that with a question that sounds something like this. Describe to me the typical day that you had while you first were experiencing this problem. Or describe to me the typical day that you have right now, right? Or imagine that you had not solved this problem yet. What are some of the things that you would be worried about? And those are the types of questions that really get to that emotional core of what that customer is thinking. So asking the right questions to really draw out their story is vital. And surveys are a great way to do that. But you could also do that by talking directly to them one-on-one. At the end of the survey, I always like to ask them if they are interested in getting on the phone and talking with me. And this is really where you can have a back and forth kind of conversation. And some of these questions you can use in that conversation or that call, but you can also use these in your open-ended surveys as well. So here are a few that you can use. How did you feel when you were looking online for a solution? This really asks them to put them in the mind of their feelings, right? Not really the science, but their feelings, because that's really what we want to get at. The feelings and the emotion that are at the heart of the story. Another question you can ask is, did the information you found explain the science in a way that was easy to understand? So this can provide information about the customer's struggle, really. And in addition, you can ask about the details of a customer's problems, and that can really help uncover the unique challenges that they're facing. After every emotional question that you ask, you can then ask, tell me more, or is that all? Right? And that works in an open-ended survey. It works even better when you're talking to them one-on-one. So a customer may feel, for example, that their weight gain is due to having children, right? But a more detailed conversation may reveal that they are actually insulin resistant. So this is where the customer only knows what the customer knows. And you don't know what you don't know. So by asking the right questions, supplement companies can gain a better understanding of their customers' needs and motivations. And most of that comes through either surveys, like I said, or one-on-one conversations. These insights can then be used to create more effective sales copy and advertising campaigns. And asking the right questions is an important skill for really anyone looking to gain insights into their customers. Once you have your surveys and your one-on-one interviews done, the next step is really applying all of the newfound knowledge to your marketing and testing what you've learned about your customer. Understanding customer behavior is really the key to optimizing any conversion or sale. Companies really must understand what motivates the customers and what makes them take action in order to move the needle and sell more supplements and help more people. Now, I mentioned earlier that if you don't even have customers to go out to, there is a way to do this by looking at stories of other customers and other brands. So what if you don't have a database of customers to go out to? What if you're in the early startup stage and there really is a low lifetime value and you just don't have any buyers? How do you get to understanding the emotional core of a customer? And how do you use that effectively in sales copy and advertising campaigns? Well, what you can do is you can look at existing problems out there. You could tap into a lot of the places where people are already talking about the problem. So one such place is in Amazon reviews. So you could just go on Amazon and just Google the type of supplement that you're selling, your competitors or even yours, but it doesn't really matter. It just has to be in the same category, right? So if you have a blood sugar supplement, just Google or just go on Amazon rather and look up blood sugar supplements. Look for those with the highest number of reviews and sort those reviews in reverse order. So you want to look at the 1 star, the 2 star, the 3 star, and dig through those. You want to read them. You want to export them, copy and paste them into a document, and really go through each one individually and look for the pain points that they're talking about. Then once you do that, you could even sort that into, here are the ones that really get to that emotional core, and here's like a summary of what each one is saying, or here is really the core emotion that they are trying to express, or the problem that they're having. How does this really affect them in their day-to-day lives? Another resource you can look at is Reddit. Reddit has a ton of forums about everything, really. And just go on Reddit and, again, just search for that category problem that you're solving, like blood sugar as an example. And you'll find a ton of forums there talking about that and everything else. You want to treat that in a very similar way, right? So at first, read through the forums. Just read for an hour and really just get a sense of what people are talking about. If anything stands out to you, just copy and paste that snippet or copy and paste that whole thing into another document that you can then digest later. This first stage is really just gathering information. Reddit, often people express really their emotions and their problems and how they're dealing with things more so than you would get in a testimonial or a review. The review is, you may find some gold there, but generally it's going to be about the product, right? We are looking for, at this stage, this second level, is really the emotional core of the customer. And you can even dip in and become a part of Reddit, right? Just sign up and actually become a part of the community and start answering questions. But at this stage, you don't really need to. At this stage, you really just want to get a sense of what the zeitgeist is in the emotional level. Always think back that you want to get it to the emotional level of the buyer. What is their day like? What are their struggles like? How does this affect their relationships? How does this affect their dreams? How does this affect their goals? How does this affect what they think about themselves? And those are some great questions to reanalyze the data that you found. So once you go through these forums and Amazon and reviews, you have been documenting this stuff and compiling it into a document. Maybe it's a Google Sheet and you're just compiling it all in there. And now it's time to take a second pass and really say, okay, go back, give it a day, give it a fresh set of eyes, go back and read through them again, and then really kind of describe what it answers. Like, okay, this passage here answers how their problem really affects their hopes and dreams. This passage here really affects how their problem, how they deal with it on a day-to-day basis. This section here really affects how it impacts them at work or in a relationship or with their family or their kids, or how they feel about themselves. These are the things that people don't really answer or give you in a survey. And these are the things that you can get from a one-on-one conversation if you're doing that with a customer. But oftentimes, it's even better to find them on a forum like this, like Reddit and other health forums out there, because they're anonymous, right? You're hiding behind that computer screen and you're more willing to express your emotions and your feelings because you don't feel judged, because you're not really, you're putting it out there, but you're putting it out there in a way where you feel safe. And once you have all of that compiled and you've gone through it and you really analyzed it and categorized it, now those categorizations can really help you when you're sitting down to write your sales copy. When you are trying to express the problem, you go back to these passages, and sometimes you can even just reword them, or just lift certain sentences or sections about them in your lead, in your beginning intro of explaining the problem. If you're doing a product detail page where you're using the framework that I teach in my course, you can use this information to really kind of dive into the problem and agitation that they're experiencing. This type of information is not only good for product detail pages where all the heavy lifting is happening and the selling is happening, but it's also great for ads, particularly ads that are video ads on YouTube or Facebook, or even the copy in ads that you're presenting on Facebook or as an advertorial sales page. So for that, you want to take the same kind of approach, right? You want to go for that emotional story. And you can even start out the story. The entire ad could be a story. It just could be the before state. What was the before state before they solved this problem with your supplement? And you can simply do a before and after state, right? And as long as that before state is pulling in a lot of those core emotions that you've gathered and found from the Reddit forums and from the 3-star and 2-star reviews, and from talking to customers and from online surveying of your own customers. Once you have that, it's about letting the customer know that you really understand where they're coming from, that you really understand the emotional state that they're in. You're meeting them there. That's where the conversation is starting. You're not starting the conversation with the solution. You're not starting the conversation with how your supplement product is better. You're starting the conversation that's already in their head that they're struggling with. And that is the emotional story that you're looking to express. And the only way to do that is to really, really understand your customers. And unless you have the same exact problem and you can really do a lot of introspective thinking up on that, or if you're dealing with a loved one or a member of the family that has that problem, then that information is even there for you, to talk to them. You can talk to friends, you can talk to family to get to this emotional core as well. It doesn't always have to be a buyer or someone anonymous or a customer. You can simply do a few ads and say, hey, we're looking to research on the topic of this health topic. And, it's a paid research. So we're looking for 100 people and we're each going to pay them each $50 to $100. And we're going to just interview you for an hour or two. And that could be the ad. You could just do an ad just to generate people to talk to if you don't have any customer base to reach out to. Because really getting to the heart of that emotion and really understanding it and giving it back to the customer in a way that lets them understand that you know where they are, that you're meeting them at that emotional level, that just gets them to nod their head, that says, yes, you actually know what I'm thinking, you know how I feel. That's the start that allows them to really be able to take in your supplement marketing message. They first need to understand that you know them before they can start reading and understanding how your product solves the problem they're looking for. Hope this was helpful. Hope it gave you a lot to think about and really start implementing these things. There are many ways to do this. So we've given you so many on this podcast episode. Pick the easiest one and just start there. Best of luck. Creative Thirst is a direct response digital agency focusing on conversion rate optimization and A/B testing. We work with dietary supplement companies who are struggling to maximize the profitability of their funnels so they can scale. Through the last 7 years in the online health space, we've optimized many dietary supplement businesses. And in that time, we've uncovered the 3 critical funnels for success. We put together that information in a free digital download called The 3 Funnels Every Health Supplement Business Needs to Build a Multi-Million-Dollar Empire. You can get that free report by going to creativethirst.com. Scroll down to the appropriate section and click on the blue Get Your ebook button.